chat. Yeah, I know that I just lost like 5 years of visible age. Um, that's how it be. That's how it be, bro. Like I grow out my beard and then I'm like not used. Like I feel like my jawline looks so much worse. I say this every time that I record a video after I shave. Anyways, I'm making a new folder, playlist, whatever, for books that I read, just to talk about them, so I could look back and stuff. Just read the Metamorphosis, which I guess a lot of people read in colleges. Also, yeah, the LEDs are on. I know, guys, like it's cringe and stuff. Yeah, but like whatever. It's a very good book. I've never read Kafka. I feel like I read often that things are Kafka-esque. I feel like I've seen that like a billion times in writing, for whatever reason. It like hurts, dude. Like my back teeth are so sensitive because I grind them when I sleep because I'm like unconsciously stressed or whatever. Anyways, phenomenal book. The start actually had me laughing. Like that's the funniest book I've ever read in my life. I've never read a book that made me laugh. Like maybe like a giggle because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Sometimes I read the Bible and I laugh. Sometimes there's like a few things that I just find funny. But some of the parts of the book actually had me dying at the start. Metamorphosis pretty much is a book about a traveling salesman that turns into a massive beetle or some type of bug. It's implied that it's a beetle, especially with the cover art. It's a human-sized beetle, and that's like literally the start of the book, and then the whole book is just about his life as a beetle for a brief amount of time. A lot of people, I was reading about it before I read it. My brother gave this to me. I guess a lot of people read it in college. That's like a big thing. Like they're like breaking it down and stuff like that. And yeah, like I understand why, honestly. I don't really read fiction much, and if I do, I'm reading like allegory from like some famous philosopher, which I guess Kafka is considered no, not really, he's just an author. But anyways, normally, yeah, I'm reading a philosopher or something. If I'm reading fiction, something like that. So I was reading it like I would read a book in a high school English class where I'm like taking notes, like motif 1, motif, all that stupid stuff. But pretty much, guys, the book parallels a lot to, well, it's a lot of discussion on family function and family units, and pretty much what happens when someone in the family becomes gravely ill. That's like a lot of the parallels that you can draw is becoming gravely ill suddenly, and you kind of hit on like a bit of existential absurdism type stuff, which I used to read a lot of Camus and Nietzsche, so I'm very familiar with those. And honestly, I will say like it's not as absurdist or existentialist as I thought. Maybe a bit more absurdist, but not a ton. But to be fair, like, yeah, I'm normally reading Camus on that stuff, and he's like number one absurdism guy. So I thought it was whatever. It was a good book. I like books that I can just read in one day. You know, it's like a short story that I could just. It's very easy to reference and stuff like that. Great book though, honestly. I thoroughly enjoyed that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it cuts a lot into the discussion of how you get into a day-to-day routine and you get very fixed on one mindset, right? Like, at the start of the book, he turns into a beetle. On the first page, he's like, oh, what am I going to do about my job today? You know? And I do like it when a lot of these kind of philosophy books hit on that fact that a lot of people's life is their job. And they're just kind of centered on, like, the fact that, oh, we need to go work. And it becomes our identity, which I've talked about in many videos, right? Who are you? I'm a plumber. I'm this. Stuff like that, right? And the fact that it's not really based on your traits. Because pretty much your job becomes your traits. But you kind of have nothing external to that. And just how quickly that stuff dissipates because it's very fake, really. But yeah, the stuff with the family units, I'm mostly saying that. I would never say that before I did this class. I just did a class on conflict and negotiation, which, by the way, guys, finished an entire college course in 3 days. 3 days! And, I got an A, so. Like, who's that guy, bro? Who's that guy? What do you mean I have a attention deficit? What the fuck do you mean? Anyways, yeah, nah, but no Adderall too. Like, you think I'm fucking taking the meth, bro? Do I seem like I take the meth? Dude, you know what I'd be like if I took Adderall? I'd be like, today I went and I'm not like that. I wish you guys could have seen me on the Adderall, bro. I used to take that. Sorry, getting off task here. Nah, yeah, so big discussion of absurdism and people getting locked into these kind of capitalistic mindsets, which, guys, I'm not like a super like leftist. Like, I use these terminologies because I'm very knowledgeable about leftist political theory, but I'm not like into it really. I mean, which you could tell if you watch my other stuff. But I think there's a lot of virtue to that, recognizing the fact that all this stuff that you're so concerned about, this is what I like about absurdism, is you take all this stuff, all these worries in your head that you're tweaking out about, especially when I had like a lot of anxiety. I loved it. You take all these worries that you're tweaking about in your head, and then you see a big life change. This is like pretty much what goes in the book. See a big life change, and then it's like, yo, what was I even doing? You know, because he's like, it said in the book that he pretty much all he'd do is work, come home, maybe read the newspaper, maybe do some woodworking, and study train timetables, and that's it. And then you just go recycle. You know? So it hits on the idea that, like, this stuff is very transitory, and one big change in your life, and you're gonna be like, yo, what was I doing? You know? And that's how I feel about my phone, bro. Like, I recognize that, but it's hard to, like, I don't know, it's stupid. I don't want to make excuses. It's not that hard. But that's how I feel about my phone. Like, if I were to fall gravely ill in a week, I'd be like, fuck, bro, I literally spent like 1,000 hours on Rust. I literally would scroll Instagram every day. Like, what was I doing? There's so much more to life, you know? And I'm not sure if you guys are ever gravely ill. My father was when he was like 16. He got pneumonia. Almost died. But you really reconsider things. You really do. It's just like if you almost die. Because I almost died recently. I almost died like a year and a half ago. Broke like 7 places in my back. Fell out of a moving vehicle going 20 miles an hour. Fell 15 feet. It was really bad. But you reconsider things, bro. You're like, yo, what the fuck? That clarity is insane. But if you don't get that, like, you're gonna get stuck in your ways, bro. Get stuck in stupid shit. Bro, why'd she look at me like that, dude? Yo, why? Like, just stupid distractions and stuff like that. And I just think it's really important to reflect on that stuff, the stuff that you'd think about if you were about to die. That's truth, bro. That's not getting caught up in the stupidity of the moment, really. And yeah, reading a piece like this will make you reflect. But yeah, like I said, almost everything parallels to family systems and grave illness. Like, the main character is, he's like the provider for his family, right? He retired both of his parents. His younger sister, he's going to put through school. And then he becomes a beadle, and so then they have to take up jobs. And it pretty much, I wrote this. If a mother cooks for the entire family and then the mother falls gravely ill, the entire family will learn to cook, and so everyone's taking up like a part of her position. But it's like, it's not the same, you know? And family systems are like any system. You need every part to be functioning well. Every part doesn't function well, then you have to take stuff over, and that's what the conflict and negotiation class talked about. You know, let's say you have a job, like my old job. They had an HR guy, but he was weird, so they let him go. So then the head chef became HR. And some of the bartenders did HR. you know. And it's a very stupid system. Yeah, I'm sure everyone gets it. Anyways, really good book. Honestly, phenomenal. There's a few things that I was like, so on. I like it that he's not too descriptive though. That's what I like about Hemingway too. They're not like going into like the poetry type. They're just hitting story, you know. Progression, and it's not like too much time wasted. Man, that's like ideal. I read this is such a short read. I would really recommend it because, dude, I can only do short reads, bro. I can't sit and read. If I'm gonna read anything, just overall, I was gonna say under whatever page. If I'm gonna read anything, I have to read in a week or 2 weeks. I can't do longer because something happens and I get disinterested, or something happens, I get distracted. I spend some time away and then I get disinterested, and then it's 6 months later and I'm like, yo, I read half that book. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with TV shows. I watched a quarter of Berserk, and then I was just like, bro. People are like, watch One Piece, and I'm like, bro, you tell me to watch One Piece, bro. Yeah, I don't really watch TV. I don't really do that stuff. But if I'm gonna, it's gotta be really short. I swear, bro. One Piece fans just want people to suffer with them. Dude, it's only 1,000 episodes, bro. Are you kidding me? Anyways, I actually like reading these school books. I think it's interesting too that schools. Here's what it is actually, bro. Schools put out these pieces about status quo life and how they're ruining everything. Fahrenheit 451. I had to read that in middle school. Fuck, what's it called? The book with Hayden or whatever, and he hates his life. Catcher in the Rye, right? It's all about against the status quo and stuff like that. And this book, it's realize what you're doing in your life. And then you see the average student, and it's bruh. And I think it's also because the school makes you read it, though. I don't think I thoroughly enjoyed Catcher in the Rye, but me and Hayden Caulfield or whatever, we synced up like that. That was a really angsty time in my life. So it was beautiful and stuff. You know, but I think that when you have to read a school book, most people just automatically dislike it because they have to read it. But the books that you read that you're supposed to read in school, if your school didn't do it, those are the best, bro. Shit, man. I understand why they'd be picking these, but because these are some fire books. I never read the one about the children on the island and they eat people or something. I don't know, dude. I'm so bad at remembering names of books. I never finished Farewell to Arms because I correlated it too much to my ex-girlfriend, and then we broke up, and I'm like, I don't want to touch that memory. But that was a great book too. I just love Hemingway, dude. I love Hemingway so much. He's just, I always say this, bipolar people love them because they you get the depressed wisdom of yo, literally none of this means anything. And you kind of break out of a lot of stuff with it. And then you get the manic, we can do whatever. And the highs and the lows, you learn a lot. You learn a lot, you know. But yeah, he's still gonna get mad and can go gamble all his money, right? I'm not saying that bipolar people are extremely wise or good at making decisions. I'm just saying that when they do creative things, they have a lot of potential. That's all. So I got a candle burning right now. It's a rainy day. That's why I got the LEDs on, the candle burning. Yeah, I was reading this at a park, and then a horsefly bit me. And I got so aggravated, I drove home. I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. But, yeah, guys. Anyways, great book. I wouldn't call it too existentialist. A lot of the reviews I read said that it was existentialist. It's not existentialist. To be fair, though, I only know Nietzsche and existentialism, so, I don't really venture out like that. But, I do think it's interesting. The author hit the idea that when you introduce good into life, it mellows back down to averageness. So, for example, you're broke, you get money. 5 years after getting money, it's just life. You don't really appreciate it like you did. But when the bad comes, it's like you just get worse and worse is what it hits on, which is interesting, right? Because it talks about the guy when he retired his family. They were very appreciative at first, and then they kind of got lazy, and they just stopped appreciating as much. His parents stopped talking to him as much, stuff like that. But then, when he became a bug, his family had to work for him. They literally just enjoyed him less and less and cared for him less and less as the time went on, right? So at the start, it hit like, well, his sister's caring for him, and his parents feel very bad. Everyone's stressed out for him, and they feel really bad for him. And then slowly, as time goes on, they start to despise him. I also think it's very interesting that, well, spoilers, guys, spoilers. So, close to the end of the book, his family is like, we can't do this anymore, right? Like, we can't do it because they're all working and they're all very stressed out. They're renting the house out to people, and pretty much the main character walks out as a bug and then scares the people that they're renting the house out to, and the people that they're renting the house out to start freaking out, and they're like, we're going to take your money. Pretty much. And so then the family discusses, we should just pull the plug, he's an animal at this point, there's no point in having him around, like he's horrible and all this stuff. And that's when he dies of something. It's not like he killed himself, like he died because there was an apple lodged in his back for too long and he couldn't eat, he was ill, and he just died. But I do think it's interesting that they hit it that he died at his worst point. He died when the family started to hate him, when he ruined everything, you know. But his dad threw the apple at him when he was freaking out one day. But yeah, it does hit the transformation of, like, when someone physically transforms, they mentally transform. It hits that note. So he transforms into the bug, and he slowly but surely loses his values and virtues and understanding of humanity. You know? And he just becomes someone that the family doesn't even consider a son anymore. So I thought it was interesting. I think you could also compare it to debilitating mental condition, like something going on with your brain, like your brain starts deteriorating or something, right? Because you become a person that they don't know. It's really what it is. So you could draw that parallel. Great book about illness and absurdism, though, breaking out. Because it is very drawn out that he's a very status quo guy. He's just very average, and work is his life, and he doesn't really strive for greatness in anything but making some money. And there's nothing else really to him. Which I think is a way too common thing, and I think that anyone who hears that is like, well, no, that's not me, but it's 90% of the population, so. Well, no, but work isn't my life because I have a family. Like, well, like, it is interesting how few people will be like, no, this isn't good enough, bro, I need to make a change. We need to make a change in the world, you know. Anyways, I'm just kind of rambling. That's all, guys. I'm gonna set this to release in like 3 days, because I'm recording this the same day that I posted the last video about manifestation and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're going to review every book I read, though. I don't know if I'm going to do nonfiction. I might just do fiction books, but I don't read them very often. Like, the only fiction books I'll read are these very, like, classic ones that have, like, a lot of meaning to dive into and stuff, because if not, it's just a waste of my time. I hate how many, bro, I don't know how many girls I've met that read. It's extremely, I don't think I've met any people that read, bro. Fuck, I don't want to make this gendered. I think about it, like, do I want to make it gendered? Maybe. But it's not the truth, bro. I don't know anyone who reads, really. Like, my roommate did from school. And, bro, like, I don't think any of my friends read books. I don't think any girls I've met read books. I dated a girl who read. She was lame. Dude, like, look at this. It looks like painting filter is on with this dim lighting. Do you guys not like these lights? Like, I didn't have to do it. I just did it because this is the state I was reading in. I don't use them ever. I literally never I used to use them all the time when I was like big gamer and stuff, and I'd just be high playing video games. But like, I don't smoke anymore. I don't play video games anymore. I'm not in my room that much. Like, it just doesn't happen. God bless you.